What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Call the Damn Leads, the show by sales professionals for sales professionals. I'm your host, Drew B. Wilson. With more than 2 decades in sales, I've seen it, been through it, heard about it. Now I'm bringing it to you, my favorite people in the world, the sales community. Because let's be honest, this is the greatest industry of all time. Doesn't matter where you come from, what personality, what background you have, you can carve out an absolutely amazing life in sales. Today's guest, no stranger to the journey, my new friend, Mr. Alan Lazaros. How are you, brother?
What's going on, man? Way to bring the energy. I want to start with gratitude. I always like to start with gratitude because 9 years ago I started listening to podcasts and after a tough car accident that I had, and they really helped me reorchestrate my life in a much more positive direction. So I respect what you do, my friend. I'm a podcaster as well. And as far as sales goes, if you are not convinced of something meaningful, you're not going to be able to convince someone else of something meaningful. And progress happens when something is sold, whether it's an idea of, hey, this is a movie we should go see, or this is a product or service that no one moves until someone is convinced of something. And that's really what sales is. And I think if you are a professional and you do it with integrity, I couldn't agree more, because every business owner out there is in sales, whether they know it or not.
You don't even have to be a business owner to be in sales. You just have to be a person, because whether you're trying to convince your spouse to make a decision on where you're going to go eat, or you're trying to get your kid to brush their teeth because that's the thing you should be doing, we're all selling somebody on something. And so, Alan, I want to know, man, give me your craziest sales story. You got some game time, so let me hear one.
All right. So to provide a little bit of context, I did inside sales engineering. I did outside sales engineering. I managed a territory. I was a 1% global earner in my early 20s. And then I got in a car accident, and that made me reevaluate my whole life. And then I started my own company, and I kind of went past broke. And that's almost 10 years ago. So I'm going to be 36, even though I look 15. I'm going to be 36 in November. And so 10 years ago is when I started my own business. And this sales story is at the beginning of that journey. So I was a fitness coach, I was a mindset coach, I was a life coach, and I was a peak performance coach, and then a business consultant. And I put on many hats to try to figure this whole thing out. And eventually I landed on business coaching, and I have 27 people on my roster currently in business coaching. So I'm a business coach now. But in the early days, after my car accident at 26, I'm almost 36 now, nearly 10 years ago, I was trying to quit drinking. And I drank too much and too often, as many sales professionals do. And I worked for a company called Cognex, and their motto was work hard, play hard. I used to say work hard, play harder. And then I got in that tough car accident that physically I was okay, but it really rattled me because my father passed away in a car accident when he was 28. And so for me, I was 26 going, whoa. So after that, I was a fitness coach, fitness competitor, fitness model. There's the context. I had someone reach out to me who was basically going on these weekend benders. He was a business owner, and it was a referral from one of my mentors at the time. And he reached out and said, hey, I need help quitting drinking and in fitness. And while he came to me for fitness coaching, quote unquote, he was really coming to me to help him quit drinking. And so it was actually a pretty high price. Actually, I think it was $1,000 a month to help him quit drinking and to get fit. And every other week, the dude would go off on these weekend benders, and I couldn't get a hold of him. And the craziest sales story for me is that, because I had a hard time quitting drinking for sure. It took me 5 years to quit drinking. I'm now more than 5 years sober. But
Congrats.
helping someone else quit who has a real problem, mine was not nearly to the extent that his was, and I'll, of course, keep it anonymous. But when he called me up for fitness coaching, I realized I was in over my head right away, because I'm trying to help this guy get fit when in reality he's doing 7,000 calories per day over the weekend when he goes off on these sort of benders. And I'm talking to his wife to try to help figure out where he is and all this kind of stuff. So that, to me, if I could go back, I probably wouldn't do it, to be completely honest. But I didn't know what the hell I was doing back then. I was a brand new coach, and so I was just willing to take whatever lead, call the damn leads, whatever lead came in, I was willing to give it a shot. And then over time, you kind of learn what is and isn't aligned. And so that's my craziest sales story. Is I basically was a fitness coach who quit drinking, who taught someone how to have less weekend benders. And when you asked me that question, that popped up, and I haven't talked about that maybe ever on a public medium, to be honest.
I appreciate you sharing that story because there's a lot of nuance to that I think is really important. In that, a lot of professionals don't embrace their calling because it's almost like imposter syndrome, where they're like, "Hey, man, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure this out for myself. Like, I don't have all the answers. I might be a couple of steps ahead, but like, oof, you're coming from a deep spot, brother. Like, I think I can help you." And so we try because we're ambitious. We're willing to do whatever it takes to make it happen. And I know I've gone down that path, and I've had conversations like this with others. And even though you say you wouldn't necessarily do it again, I think it was really important because taking on a client who we give our absolute all to trying to help, for them to still not do the thing, that's an important part as a leader, as a coach. Whether you're getting paid for coaching or you're trying to teach someone in an organization, you're basically a glorified therapist. And to lead people down that path is it's important because you have to learn what works for you won't always work for everyone else. And as you develop, you learn to lead and to point people in a direction of saying, "Hey, here are the frameworks, here are the processes through which I was able to get this result, and I will take you down that path and give you those. And what you do with it from there is going to be up to you." And I think for me personally, I had to kind of learn to separate myself so that I didn't feel emotionally attached to their result, because as a leader, we can only take them so far and they have to make that decision on what to do with it. So for you, did you have a similar experience? I mean, with that one, obviously you did, but did you have to go through that a couple more times before you really realized, all right, dude, we're going to hone in and put some pre-qualifiers in place here?
Yeah, so I've been a coach now. I was mentoring for the first 2 years after my car accident, and then 7 years I've been a coach. So it's been thousands. I actually have a 10,000 hour tracker in my spreadsheets, and I'm coming up on 8,000 podcasting, speaking, coaching, and training. And
Come
I
on.
say that not to brag, but I say that to make sure everyone knows I'm not just talking. It's really important because I think a lot of people are talking nowadays and not doing the real work behind the scenes. And so most of my work is one-on-one with individuals. I coached 2 people earlier today, right? So over the years, I learned that yes, you can lead a horse to water. You can't make them drink. However, you can show them how awesome it is to drink water.
Mm.
And so you can't control anyone, but you can influence them, and you can inspire and motivate them. And if you understand the human condition, you understand core wounds, psychology, neuroscience, you can push and prod. And I always say this to my clients. I say, my job is to push you towards your potential, but not to push you out of integrity.
Mm.
So I want to push you out of your comfort zone. I want to push you to your potential, but I don't want to push you out of integrity. So you have to decide for you. I can take responsibility for me being your coach and your guide, but you have to take responsibility for the choice you're making to be in my corner. And if you come to me and you say you want this goal, whether it's quit drinking or whatever, I have a simple system where it's metrics, habits, and identity. To me, you come to me, you want a goal, that's great. Everybody has dreams and aspirations, whether they write them down or not. Apparently, no one writes them down. Only 4%, latest research, write them down. And only 8% of them achieve it, which is insane to me. But I'm a numbers guy, so I write everything down. But ultimately, you come to me, you say you have a goal. And that's the difference, I think, between a coach, a leader, and a therapist is a leader and a coach is more future oriented. And I have a therapist, by the way, so I appreciate therapy tremendously. I always joke, I say most guys can't even ask for directions, never mind get a therapist. I pay out
I
of
know that
pocket for
feeling.
mine. Her name is Carol, and it's helped me
Yep.
tremendously. But I think therapy is a lot more about the past and how you work internally. And I think coaching and leadership tends to be more externally driven, achievement, that kind of thing. And obviously
Mm.
they're connected. But ultimately, someone comes to me, they have a goal, and I had to learn this the hard way. And I projected unconsciously, okay, your consciousness plus my consciousness is capable of this. But what would you be capable of if I wasn't in the equation? And so instead of give a man a fish, you teach a man to fish. Instead of teach a man to fish, you teach a man to teach himself how to fish. And I say a man, but I mean men and women. Most of my clients are actually women. However, that's really the problem, is that I would help people get goals that were my metrics, my habits, and then I inner engineered their identity to be able to reach the goal. But then when I left, the goals crumbled, the scaffolding underneath it would crumble. So I had to learn the hard way that they needed to build their own self-belief and their own self-worth and their own self-discipline on their own accord. And while I can help them be accountable and push them, it needs to be something that isn't going to crumble the moment I leave the equation.
Ooh, that's good. All right, I like where you're going with this, Alan. This is good because from a framework of sales, this is the same process whether you're training and leading someone on your team or you're working with someone who's a prospect who needs to take this journey for themselves. Because there are times where you can be so 100% certain that what you do is the thing for the person that you're talking to, and you can have so much belief in them that, like, it doesn't matter. They still have to do it. They still have to have that belief in themselves. And it's your ability to communicate that in a way that makes them feel confident that they can do it without you, that makes them say, yeah, I want to work with you because I know that you'll help me get there, and then I can go and do it by myself. And a lot of times, what I've learned with coaching and leadership is people kind of already know what they should be doing. They're doing some of it. Maybe they're doing it out of order in a way. But ultimately, what they want is permission from someone to go do the thing they know they should be doing. And coaching, therapy, like you said, I love the breakdown of therapy being more past based and coaching leadership being more future based. I'm definitely going to swipe that idea. So thank you for that, Alan. That one was for me
You're welcome.
personally, y'all.
Yeah.
However, I would lean in on the fact that you're right. In if I give you all of my metrics and what makes me great, that's cool, but that's me. And I can only be me. And if you're trying to be me, you're only going to get X amount of results because you're going to be doing all the things I'm doing. And so I'm chasing the future and you're chasing a past version of me. And so there's this weird stutter step versus me just going, hey, let me give you the frameworks. And then you put them together in what way works best for you so that you can go and get the result faster, because my way might not be the right way for you. But it doesn't mean that you can't take a little of this and a little of this and bring them together like a Frankenstein. And all of a sudden you've got this monster machine that's just absolutely unstoppable. And so, Alan, what I'd love to know from, your perspective over the years of what has become your like secret sales superpower? What's the thing that you do different than everybody else?
I think lead by example. If I were to really, I will not sell a single thing genuinely to a massive detriment. I think at some point, seriously. So we have this journal that when I'm not using it, I will not even talk about it. I have to be using it. Like, I'm surprised I'm talking about it right now because I haven't done today's yet. Like, leading by example is my superpower. I have a 20-person team. I have 27 clients on my roster currently. Everyone tracks metrics and habits. And it wasn't until way later that I realized if I were to stop doing that, and this is when I learned this. Let me share this real quick. All right, so I used to be too much of a coward to share this because it sounds so damn arrogant, but whatever. So on March 1st of 2022, my girlfriend and I decided to exercise every day. And I wanted to beat my old best. So my old best was 3 months, and I wanted to get to 4 months. And so we did 30 minutes a day. Walking counts, swimming counts, soccer counts, basketball. Any movement consistently for 30 minutes, weight training counts. And we did that every day, and I got to 4 months. And I was like, okay, cool. Let's go for a year. And then we went for a year. And I remember driving into the garage. My girlfriend, we just got out of the gym. And I turned to her, I say, sweetheart, we did it. And she's like, what do you mean? I said, it's a year. It's a year. And she said, oh, that's awesome. And I said, now what? She said, let's do this forever. And I had a mini panic attack. Seriously. Now, the reason why is because I know what that means.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sign up for something that I'm not going to do. And this is a weird integrity thing. I have a really, really, really hard time saying one thing and then doing another. I just can't do it. And I think it's because in my childhood, a lot of the people I was around were so full of shit. It just bothers me so much. And so anyways, so I've been doing that for 2.5 years now. The last time we did an exercise was March 1st of 2022. And I actually stopped talking about it because it was cool in the beginning. And now it's like, seriously, what are you out of your goddamn mind? And so at first it was 30 minutes. Then we bumped it to 40 halfway through this year. But the reason I'm saying this is leadership principle, the sales principle, influence. Sales is influence. My team, half of them have fitness streaks. Half of them. One of them has run a mile a day every day for over 700 days.
That's awesome.
But here's the thing. Thank you. It is awesome. Here's the thing. I had to know this as a leader. I have to, as much as this sounds egocentric. If I were to stop, a lot of that would trickle out. Is it a coincidence that everyone in our community happens to track metrics and habits, and they happen to have fitness streaks, and they happen to journal every day, and they happen to listen to podcasts every day because we have an episode a day? No. It's leadership is unconscious. No one can achieve anything great without a great team. However, one player can make a team great. That's a duality you have to hold. I can't achieve anything great on my own. I have a 20-person team, and trust me, they're awesome. However, I am setting the pace and the standard as the CEO. And if I stop, trust me, I notice everyone else slows down. Mm-hmm. When the cats are away, the mice will play. That is facts. And we're all human beings, and we're all influenced by each other. So if I don't set level 10 standards for myself and lead by example when no one's watching, I'm telling you, everything crumbles. And so in sales, I think the sales cheat code ultimately is leading by example. Ironically, it's actually the least done thing. People talk about self-discipline and they're out of shape, and it makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me. If you are preaching and yelling into the microphone about self-discipline, why are you so out of shape? It doesn't make any sense. So for me, I'll never speak about something I'm not doing. Never. And I think that that's ultimately what people are looking for more than anything.
I really love that, and what I think is a big part of that is exactly what you said, is just leading by example. You know, as kids, a lot of times for most of us that ended up in this role of like leadership, we didn't have very great leaders. That's how we got here, because we had to become the person that we didn't have in our own lives. And what's interesting about that is when we start to look at the big picture of, okay, if I'm setting this example, you can legitimately see how the people around you start to be influenced and start to make different decisions. It's like if you start using a word differently than everybody else, there's going to be some people that are like, you start hearing them use it too. And you're going, all right, I see you talking about the glizzies. You know, like glizzy is one that I love. It's just such a stupid name for a hot dog, but I love calling them glizzies. And like people around me start calling them glizzies. And it's such a stupid thing, but like we have fun with it. And they're influenced by me because they know, like, and trust me. And so by having that fun, that then it just radiates out. And I really appreciate the side of intentionality with a workout. Man, I used to be 315 pounds. I've lost 100 pounds. I got all the way down to 183 pounds. Guess what?
Good
Didn't
for
like
you,
how I
man.
looked then. So I put some weight back on. And I'm one of those guys that from a discipline standpoint, I had to get very clear about, as long as I'm being intentional, I won't beat myself up. Could I be way more disciplined and way more hardcore right now and be in better shape? 100%. And also knowing what I'm building, I have to find the internal discipline to be at least committed enough to be intentional for 30 to 45 minutes a day, walking, doing whatever, like you said, and be willing to recognize that in certain seasons, there's a time to go hard and there is a time to recover. So like you, I try to be a little more careful about, oh, I'm going to do 2-a-days for 1,000 days or whatever it is. Like if I can't commit to that, then I don't want to commit to that. I'd
It has
rather
to be
say, hey man, I'm
sustainable.
going to be intentional, and sustainable is the key. So talk a little bit about sustainable sales and how you've been able to, I know you've got your routines and you know how you've built this, but like, what is your main focus now? How do you really come in and help the people that you coach? Like, what's that look like?
One of the tools, it's a meta tool sort of, but I call it my big five to thrive. And you have to put this into your own context, because whenever I'm on a podcast, it's kind of casting a wide net. We're talking to sales professionals, so it's at least less of a wide net.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is, I like coaching more than podcasting. And the reason why is because anything that's one to scale is such a wide net that everything you say has a little less meaning because it's a little less applicable. So if I'm on with a one-on-one client, my client earlier, Cole, 24-year-old, we have his metrics, his habits, his specific goals. His specific goals requires specific metrics, specific habits, and specific identity that he has to embody to be the high value man he aspires to be. And all of that has a role underneath his ultimate dreams. If I'm talking to a wider audience, the medicine that will cure one patient will actually kill another. Now, there's principles that apply to everyone, but the way you apply those principles is unique to everyone. So one of the things that I use, a meta habit, quote unquote, is the big 5 to thrive. And I do it, otherwise I wouldn't talk about it. So, and it has evolved. It's one of those weird habits where I've been doing it all year, but it's changed a few times. So yeah, I've been consistent all year. And by the way, it has to be sustainable. Sustainability is the way to be consistent. If I was 3 hours of workout per day, no chance I could do 2.5 years. 30 minutes a day, even 40 minutes is brutally challenging. Seriously, we own 3 businesses. Yeah, we own 3 businesses between the two of us, Emilia and I. And also without her, an accountability partner that I live with, this probably wouldn't have worked. So just understand sustainability over everything. And you need accountability. You need the right people in your circle. It's a must. It's a must. Okay, so the big 5 to thrive. So for me right now, and this is my sales process, it's texts, batch my text messages, batch my WhatsApp messages, batch my emails, batch my DMs, and then batch my social media. And if I do those 5 things every single day, now I'm fortunate at this point to have a lot of warm leads coming in because I put a lot on the court over the last couple of years. Kevin and I have really, I mean, we have 1,800 episodes. So there are a lot of warm leads. There's more than we can handle. And quite frankly, I'm so grateful because I remember when it was freaking crickets, man. I never want to forget. Like, I'm overwhelmed as hell right now. Back-to-backs all week, every week, Monday through Saturday. But I remember what it was like when I couldn't get anyone on the phone. So thank you. But ultimately, those are my big 5 to thrive. But everyone has 5 things that really make their engine run. For me, those are the 5 things that I tend to avoid because they're so overwhelming. I probably have 50 WhatsApp messages right now, even though I batched them this morning. All my clients are on WhatsApp. We have a bunch of communities on WhatsApp, all that stuff. And that's a whole nother conversation if you have a business. But ultimately, at the end of the day, what are the 5 things that if you did them daily, and they are small, they cannot be an hour of WhatsApp, an hour of email, and like no chance. Keep it under an hour for all 5. And you're going to do it no matter what. Well, what about Christmas? I said no matter what. Now, again, I'm a little bit hardcore. I think everyone kind of knows that. It's been 9 years since my car accident when I started my own business, and I've gone 9, almost 10 years without a single day off. A lot of people come to me, they say, I want the success you and Kevin have. And I know that you know Kev. Kev told me this was going to be awesome. So he gave me
I was
a referral.
like, I wonder if it's the Kevin I know, but that's beautiful.
It is the Kevin Palmieri, yeah. So my business partner.
Shout out to Kevin.
And a referral, by the way, is someone great telling someone else how great you are. So that happened earlier today. He said, Drewby, you're on with Drewby later. It's going to be great. All right. So, which is good because that helped the whole thing.
Yeah.
So why was I going down that road? What was I talking about?
We were big 5 to thrive, taking care of business. And then we got off on
Kevin. Oh, the no days off. Yeah. So I'm coming up on 36, car accident at 26, 10 years, no days off. Now that doesn't mean I work every day. People come to me and they say, well, I want what you and Kevin have built. And I say, listen, there's 2 of us and we have taken 1 vacation each in the last 10 years. And we work every single day. Now, that doesn't mean that I work 10-hour days every day. There are some days that was only an hour and a half of work, but I never took a full day off. And I really don't intend to, and I'm also insane. That said, for you out there, what are the big 5 things that make your world go round? Check in with your partner. Yoga or mobility, daily exercise, listen 20 minutes of a book, whatever it is, keep it under an hour. Big 5 to thrive, 20 minutes, 15 minutes each, 10 minutes each, 10 minutes each, 50 minutes. Keep it under an hour. And those, if those stay consistent, it makes the rest of the engine proliferate. I mean, it's worked tremendous for my clients.
I love that. And I do something kind of similar in that, I mean, I don't take days off. I've developed a lifestyle by design. I tell people, hey, I want to build something with you that's sustainable success, because I've met people that have made a shitload of money really fast and got absolutely burnt out and been miserable and been like, man, I was happier making 60 grand a year than I am making 600. Like, this sucks. And it's weird, mo money, mo problems. As much as they make a joke about the song, it's a real thing because there's more responsibility. There's more, you take on such a heavier load when you hire someone, and it's their family is now dependent upon you showing up and being motivated and doing what you do, whether you feel like it or not. And like right before this call, we were talking like motivation's a big part of this. Some
Mm-hmm.
days you wake up and you're not feeling it. Today, you and I both, we're high 8, 9, 10 motivation. We're feeling it because we're getting to have conversations with awesome people. We're getting inspired. And we know that through these conversations, we're going to get one little nugget that we're going to take back into our own lives and be able to implement to a massive amount of success. And so, while Alan, I know you and I could sit here and nerd out and tell stories and have fun all day, I want to be respectful of your time, my time, the listener's time for sure, because it is our most valuable asset. And as you're going to go and invest that hour, hour and a half into your big five to thrive, which I also write down because I like that. I have something similar, but mine's I'll let them be the star for your show here. Um, it's
You gave me
important to
something
invest
this
that
on this
time.
episode, just real quick. You gave me one because you know how earlier I said something and you said I'm going to take that.
Yeah,
Sustainable success. Sustainable success. That's good.
I love it.
Design a life of sustainable success, because what people don't realize is if you want to gross $1 million a year in your business, that doesn't mean that's net. You might have to you might have 900,000 in expenses, and those expenses get big quick when your lifestyle comes up, and if you don't wake up wanting to call on the leads or whatever. As a business owner, you don't really get days off unless you have a lot of cash on hand. And so
yeah.
that's a whole nother conversation. But I'm with you 100%. The part of success people don't tell you is the sustain part. When you reach a new level of success, it actually makes life harder, not easier. When you get to the NBA, it's not like, oh, now I'm good. It's now I have to play against the best in the world every single day and not get traded, right? So I think the world's biggest lie is that success makes life easier. I think it actually makes it more challenging. However, if you're in the right industry and your work is meaningful, I think it makes it more fulfilling.
I would agree with that 1,000,000%. And at this point, man, I know I'm going to be coming to follow you. I know the listeners have gotten some value. What's the best way for us to come check out? I know you've got some resources and tools and stuff for us. How can we come learn more about what you guys do, how you help people, and get plugged in?
Thank you, brother. My screensaver just went off, so I had to go over there for a second. I swore I turned that damn thing off.
It'd be
All
like
right,
that
so
sometimes.
yeah. Nextleveluniverse.com is the name of the website. The podcast is Next Level University. And really, that's the name of the brand and the business. And Next Level University is Next Level U, pun intended. So I'm going to be 36, so I call it Alan 3.6. Forgive me, I'm a computer engineer, so I'm going to be Alan
Nerd.
3.6. And
I
Alan,
love
you
it.
know it, man. And Alan 3.6 is going to be way more capable than Alan 3.5. And Alan 3.5 is 1,000 times more capable than Alan 2.6. And so Next Level U, Next Level University, is a place that you come to take responsibility for your own life and build a bigger, better, brighter future in your mind, and then you work toward reaching your potential. Really, underneath all of it, it's health, wealth, life, and love. It's holistic self-improvement, and it's about reaching your potential. And I said this to you earlier, I don't know if we were on air or not, but I want to push you towards your potential, and I want to push you outside your comfort zone, but I don't want to push you out of integrity. And so you got to decide for you whether or not this push is what you need. And you got to take responsibility for the choices you make. And I have to do the same. And so that's Next Level University. You can reach out on Instagram, Facebook. You can Google my name. At this point, you would definitely see a lot of stuff pop up, which I'm grateful for. And I hope you reach out. Please just provide context, because obviously we all get a lot of spam. So
Yes, that's intentionality. And more than anything, man, I'm grateful for the time that you poured into me, our audience, because I know, same as you, man, without the opportunity to pour in and help others, our calendars wouldn't be full back to back. We wouldn't both be staring at the clock going, hey, within 10 minutes, I got to be prepped and ready for my next call. Because the more you pour into the cups of others, the more it makes room for people to pour into you. And guys like Alan, I know his partner Kevin, amazing humans who are willing to give you every single tool, resource, whatever they can to help you become that next level you got to do the work. You got to call the damn leads. You got to take action. So, Alan, thank you again for being in here and hanging out with me, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I started with gratitude. I want to end with gratitude. Drewby, I really appreciate it. Like I said, I started listening to podcasts 9 years ago and they helped me a lot. And now I'm on the other end of the mic and I'm helping people through podcasting. So I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me.
You know what? And that's a great point. If you're on a journey, you're here with us, and you know you've got a story that needs to be told, I want you to come on the show. I want to share your story. I want to help take you to that next level, you, just like my boy Alan and his homie Kevin. So head over to callthedamnleads.com/podcast. Send us your info. Get booked in. Let's bring you on the show. Let's share some stories. Let's have some fun. And if you like this episode, make sure you share it. Tag me, tag Alan, tag the crew. Let us know. Send it to a friend or family member, because the one thing that you can do in sales is be successful if you call the damn lead. So we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.